Hey, what's up now? This is Nicky G, Sticky Nick, and Nickel Pickle. We're going deep on dinosaurs today. That's what she said. This is Veloci-Ramp-Tor. Man, take a second and appreciate this art on a Chroma's Will, dude. This art is so small in the card you can't really see it, man, but it's a bunch of people riding cats, which is my dream every day of the week. Hey, listen, puns, right? Veloci-Ramp-Tor, we all love puns, right? Funny names for decks, meh. Well, hereafter we're calling this dinosaurs, you know what I mean? This isn't Jimmy Wong, dude. This isn't Madam Outrageous or whatever other theater kid YouTuber you want to watch out there. This is Better Commander. We don't do puns here. Just kidding, of course we do puns, but just not terrible puns like Veloci-Ramp-Tor. Anyways, man, this deck is stacked. I've never looked at a precon before and seen so much that I wanted from it. The Face Commander has a lot going for it. I'm going to read the reminder text here because it's a new ability and it's pretty bonkers. So this guy is Pantlaza, the Sun Favored. 2 red, green, and a white for a legendary creature dinosaur. It's a 4/4. Whenever Pantlaza, Sun Favored, or another dinosaur enters the battlefield under your control, you may discover X, where X is that creature's toughness. Do this only once each turn. So to discover, you exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with that mana value or less. Cast it without paying its mana cost or put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. Alright, let's talk about this Discover ability. One of the major drawbacks with Cascade is that you can cascade into an instant or sorcery that you don't want to cast at that moment. This Discover ability does away with all that. You can just put that at Chroma's Will that into your hand for later. It's also worth noting that you are casting the card from exile. Cast triggers and cast from exile triggers will matter. The third salient point is that Discover states non-land card with that mana value or less. So if you have a 4 toughness creature, you get a non-land card with mana value 4 or less, which is different from Cascade. Pantlaza's ability is held back a little bit by the once per turn clause. So you're only getting 1 free draw or cast per turn, and unless you can flash stuff in or blink it, this is pretty limiting. But you know, we can get around this slightly with a blink ability. Pantlaza becomes a new object, you know what I mean? The ability reads when Pantlaza or another dinosaur enters the battlefield. So some blink may be good to slot in anyways, especially if it's instant speed to take advantage of that ability on opponent's turn. So with all that being said, let's take a look at what makes this deck so stacked, the reprints. And right off the bat, we have Xenaghost. This is a fantastic commander staple that's still a little pricey to this day. He's the best, dude. I have a Xenaghost deck and it's super hard to deal with. Then we have the old Apex Allosaur, which is from Commander 2019. I think it was the Morph deck. This is just a huge and selective removal spell that's fantastic at controlling the board. With dinosaurs having the Enrage ability and some cards in this deck feeding into that, this is a solid include, man. He's hard to block too. Overall, fantastic card. And with all these huge creatures out there, Chandra's Ignition can be a real knockout blow. I love this card, man. I have it in Greven. He can get really huge, and in combination with Xenaghost, this can create some really big problems for your opponents. This is a picture of when Chandra ignited her fart for the first time and destroyed the entire plane of Chandelulu. Rhythm of the Wild is a great card, and I have it in a bunch of decks. The Haste Enabler is great with dinosaurs, man, and all these big creatures. I kind of like the new art, but I'm unsure why it's not dinosaurs in the dinosaur deck. Dude, you commission new art, make it a dang dinosaur, brother. Wayward Swordtooth. This is a great card in a Lands Matter deck or a Dino deck, because guess what? It's a dinosaur, dude, and this is a great spot for it. And lastly, but certainly not least, we have a Chroma's Will. This 4-mana instant ends games, dude. Puts you in such a great position to win if you can cast it with your commander out there. Love this card. Glad it's gotten a reprint. So that's a lot of cash, a lot of staples. I mean, in a deck that's 45 bucks, dude, you can't beat that. But guess what, man? This is about 85 bucks, so I don't know what to say about it. New cards to note, we got Itzquinith. I don't know how the heck to say that, dude. Firstborn of Gishath. Red and green for a legendary creature dinosaur. It's a 2/3. He's claiming he's the firstborn, dude. He's got haste. When he enters the battlefield, you may pay 2. When you do, target dinosaur you control deals damage equal to its power to another target creature. Alright, man, so this is an ETB creature. So why is there no blink in this deck again, man? I don't know, but I like how they tried to make him cute. He's got a cute little red mohawk there. Interesting little guy. Not really an early game drop. You want to be established first. Seems a bit fiddly to me. I don't know how I feel about it. Oh my god, is that Cardi B? No, it's the Sunfrill Imitator. Sunfrill. 2 and a green for a creature dinosaur. It's a 3/3. Whenever the old imitator attacks, you may have it become a copy of another target dinosaur you control, except its name is Sunfrill Imitator and it has this ability. I like this in a big dinosaur deck because guess what, dude? You're going to be putting out a lot of big dinosaurs. Then you got Wada, Trainer Prodigy, dude. What makes her a prodigy? I don't know. Red, green, and a white for a legendary creature, human warrior. It's a 1/5 with haste. Has 2 and a green and tap. Target creature you control fights another target creature. This ability costs 2 less to activate if it targets 2 creatures you control. If a creature you control being dealt damage causes triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger. Oh my god, dude, that ability triggers an additional time. This is an awesome fight commander that also feeds into enraging your dinosaurs. This would be great at the head of a specific build around, but it's pretty decent in this deck due to the amount of creatures it interacts with. I mean, you can also just use this as removal. You know, neat card, does a lot. Weird art, man. Why are we looking up our nose? I don't know. Progenita's Icon. 3 generic mana for an artifact. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Tap, the next spell of the chosen type you cast this turn can be cast as though it had flash. I like how they're leaning into Aztec and Olmec art as a sub-theme in this set. This is a really neat card later in the game that helps us cast stuff with flash to get an additional trigger off our commander. This is actually useful in a wide variety of tribal decks. Curious Allosaur is a really decent draw engine for your dinosaurs. I dig it. I like effects like this, and when upgrading I want more draw. Wrathful Raptors, this is a 4 and a red for a creature dinosaur. It's a 5/5 with trample stamples. Whenever a dinosaur you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dinosaur. This is another shoe-in for dino decks. Similar to Wrathful Red Dragon, this makes your dinosaurs very difficult to block and feeds off of enraged triggers and fight mechanics. This is great in this deck specifically. And last but certainly not least, From the Rubble. 4 white for an enchantment. It's From the Rubble enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. At the beginning of your end step, return target creature of the chosen type from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. This is a really interesting reanimation effect for your tribal decks, dude. That finality counter means that if it goes away forever. It's a little pricey, but gets started immediately after casting it. The finality counter kinda sucks, but that's okay if you're leaning into big creatures with ETB triggers. I think this is an interesting card. I rated a B- for big bucks. So most of our new cards are dinosaur specific, and that's okay, we're building dinosaurs. So how would I upgrade this thing? Well, I would definitely lean into Blink, preferably repeatable instant Blink, and that's not a hard niche to fill. You got Email of the Blessed out there, 2 white, legendary creature unicorn, it's a 4/4. If I was gonna marry a unicorn dude, like make a lifetime commitment to him, it would be Email of the Blessed. Has 3, exile another target creature you control, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. I love this little guy, but the important thing is that you can do this at instant speed anytime you want. We also have Ephemerate, Eerie Interlude. These are both staples in the Blink archetype and easy to slot in. Ephemerate is special. All you gotta do is hold open 1 white mana, dude. They don't know if you're holding a Swords to Plowshares in hand or whatever. Cast this on your opponent's end step and then you're just in the money, brother. As far as dinosaurs go, there are a plethora. Most are pricey as heck. Just go into Scryfall and search up dinosaurs and sort by price, dude. You'll see some really good ones. They're all pretty obvious if you have them on board. But well, what about this fella, dude? You got the Flaming Tyrannosaurus out there. This guy gets no love. 5 red for a creature dinosaur. It's a 5/5 with menace. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, Flaming Tyrannosaurus deals 3 damage to any target. Then put a +1/+1 counter on it. That's the paradox, dude. When it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. Keep in mind, when discovering you are casting from exile, so that triggers this Dinosaurus Rex, brother. Oh my god, is that Donald Trump? Dude, no, it's the Trumpeting Carnosaur. 4 red for a creature dinosaur. It's a 7/6 with trample. When he enters the battlefield, discover 5. It has 2 and a red, discard it. It deals 3 damage to target creature, Planeswalker. Fresh out of Ixalan, this guy does more discovery, and it's only a few bucks right now. Pretty good card. If you want, you can also lean into cast from exile triggers like these guys, the Wild Magic Sorcerers. You know, it's 4 mana for an Orc Shaman, it's a 4/3. The first spell you cast from exile each turn has Cascade. He's a beefy orc, just like your old pal Nicky G. There are a couple others like Keeper of Secrets and Nalfeshni, man. I honestly think you can build this deck with just about anything you want, but you gotta include Itali Primal Conqueror. Such a value, and it's easy to slot in there. Later in the game, you can just flip it over if you want as well. Yeah, that's why this deck is stacked. There really isn't too much else I would add to this deck. Right out of the box, it's doing some wild stuff. By turn 7, you're plopping permanents all over the place. You definitely want to get rid of the tap lands. Put in some untapped duels, whatever your budget allows. I put a $30 upgrade up there on my Moxfield site. You can take a look at it. You can sniff it if you want. You can use it as a template. You can look it over, or you can just throw it in the trash bin with the rest of the garbage. Just kidding, dude. Be good to each other out there. It's Nicky G signing off.